Hi guys and welcome to another Train Sim 2022 video. Today we're taking a look at the long anticipated, I say long anticipated, it kind of is, long anticipated Armstrong Powerhouse Class 800 to 803 Enhancement pack. This has had a lot of hype, an awful lot of hype. So I am really looking forward to giving this one a go. The 800 series, the IAT series, we've had them into TS for a while, but it's always been one of those models that's just been so lackluster. It was never something that people drove regularly. So my expectations for this pack are to make a undrivable train in Train Sim into a drivable train in Train Sim, and that's what I'm looking to see in this. This scenario we're doing is got a power changeover on it. We're not going to hear the diesel sounds for very, very long because the beginning we're on diesel for like a minute. But what I'll do is halfway through I'll either switch over to diesel, or we will also, I might do a bit at the end where I do a little bit more on the diesel stuff. But there's going to be plenty of videos coming for this, so do not worry guys, alright? There's going to be plenty coming for this pack. And scenario wise, there's already tons of scenarios I know people are updating, so it will be used very, very widely. Things to note for this video: I'm using the PVC, so the braking is slightly different just because of the way the PVC works. It does it in notches, whereas on this in real life, I'll show you it with the keyboard commands, it is an infinitely variable brake there, but on the PVC it will show up as I'm in notches. Apart from that, I don't think there's anything else I need to go into before we start. The other thing to say is, if you're watching this video, it is already out, because this video will be released just at release of the pack in the morning as well, so it should all be out and ready to go, all being well. Okay, let's get going. Rolling start on this scenario. I'm going to speed a little bit, but also just to hear that. Then we'll come in hard on our brakes to come into Manvic there. That sounds good, to be fair. I was worried about them. We'll listen to them a little bit more as we can later on, but they sound decent enough for me at the moment. There's a slope coming in here, so we better go in the cab for this. Oh, wiper sounds aren't that intrusive. It's like a dot matrix printer. Is it variable? Yes. Oh, that's cool. I like that. I'm usually a fan of very, very quiet wipers, as you guys well know. Right. Just, oh, another heads up. This is a pre-release version, guys. So if there are any little bugs and pieces in this, I hope they will be sorted by the time this launches. If we spot any. We might not spot any. Right, and we're stopped. Let's get that up to full service. Get that on, get our DRA on, and then we will open our doors. I haven't tested it with the door control panel. Doors are open. We're good. Right, power changeover, and then we'll get into the ins and outs of what's going on in this cab, because it looks nice, and I want to see some more of it. So, to switch between, let me find it in the manual. Electric to diesel mode, we want to go diesel to electric. So, method 1 is ensure the reverser is away from off, ensure the power brake position is not in a power position. Hold the electric button down by pressing N until a message appears on the top right hand side of the screen confirming. That's up there. We've got electric mode there. The pantograph will raise and the generating units will rev down before shutting down. As soon as the vacuum circuit breaker closes and the line light illuminates, traction power will be available. Well, we have that already. The line light's over here, isn't it, on this? Yes. Nice. I mean, I know it's not the biggest of cab upgrades, but the textures have definitely been upgraded. The button textures have been done. It's looking a lot nicer in here. An awful lot nicer in here. There's no working GSMR. I'd like to have seen that. I really would have done, but I'm guessing just in the scope of what Richard was able to do with this back, hasn't been able to do that. So let's have a look down the side of the train in a nice, not so gloomy, but slightly gloomy Manchester Victoria. So it's not the best place to look down at, but we will take a look as well. Oh, these are the Major Wales cable connectors. They're cool. It'd be cool to see them if they move in the... well, I don't know if they'll be able to move actually properly, or they might just sink into each other. I'm not sure, because I know on the HSTs and stuff they're kind of a thing that Train Sim doesn't like to do. Looks like they just sort of sit between each other, I think. But the livery's looking awesome. Liking the lights. These new surrounds on the lights as well are very nice. And they've even got the blind down. Do you notice that? In the rear cab? That's cool. That's very, very cool. .158 coming in there. Right, so this is a first look, guys. I haven't looked at it. I've seen little drips and drabs of this, as much as you have. I haven't seen anything more. So liveries wise, while we're sitting here, you'll have all seen these anyway. So you get the white without logo and one with the Hitachi logo. Great Western Railway 800/0s without front logo and with front logo. You get the Great Western Railway without front logo GR1 and with front logo. LER Azuma, Transpennine Express, Transpennine Express Grey, whole trains with the whole trains branded down the side of the different cities. I'm really looking forward to seeing that livery actually. That'll be hopefully one of my next scenarios that I'll do as a video, will be in one of those. It'll definitely be on stream tonight. I'll hopefully be able to drive one of those. And there's an unbranded whole trains one. And of course there's Lumo as well, which is a nice addition. Non-standard keyboard controls, there are a lot. This is definitely one to read the manual with, guys. Interior views, we've got Great Western Railway, LNER, Transpennine Express, and whole trains and Lumo. So they're all in there. We've got the TPE livery just now. Oh, that is nice. And to be fair, this is the only other... I have been on one of the GWR ones, not for very long, but I've done a couple of journeys on the TPE 8OXs, but this looks pretty bob on to me, to be honest. I'm no expert in the IETs. They're not a train that I've got a massive amount of love for. I find some of them quite uncomfortable. I find the ride to be pretty atrocious, but at the end of the day, they're bedded in. They're bedded in. They are bedding in, shall we say. That's as much I'm going to moan about the 800s. Let's not moan about them anymore. We're in this for the EP. And it is nice. It is nice. The cab is nice, and the passenger views so far are nice. Liking the hums in the background. It's not like one of those units where it's just when it's in off, it's just when it's in neutral, it's just dead. You've got the AC wine and stuff there, which always, I think, adds a little bit of depth to the train, really, more than anything. And it's got the aggressive guards buzzer. Now, people are going to go mad about that. Go, that sounds rubbish. Trust me, that's how it sounds. Oh, dear. One of my friends, when these were coming in service, sent me a video of him on a training run with them, and that was like the first thing he showed me. It was quite hilarious. So, the person that's watching that video, you know who you are. I'm glad to see that's been accurately reproduced, is the word I'm looking for there. Nice fading in and out of the sound so they don't just cut off with the traction there. That's nice. We'll hopefully get to put a bit of speed on soon as well. Only 5 mile an hour, but we should be able to hear it a little bit better. Track joint sounds are good. Pass-through sounds are nice. The cabs on these are, and this is even something that another driver said to us as well, the cabs on these are very, very quiet. So even knowing AP, they've probably put turned some volume up in this to make it sound a little bit more than it usually would. So traction physics is the first thing we come to. Great care has been taken to accurately simulate the acceleration characteristics of different subclass variants in both electric and diesel mode. Sorry, pardon me. In electric mode, real-world observations suggest that all subclasses perform in a similar manner. Acceleration is very swift at a constant rate around 23 miles per hour before tailing off as speed increases. Higher speeds can be reached with ease. In diesel mode, acceleration is about 70% of the rate of electric, with it dropping off sooner to around 10 miles per hour. When I get around this 50, we'll just do some acceleration from inside the cab. So you can hear it, but it's definitely not overpowering. That's nice. It's no thrash of a 37, don't get me wrong, but it still has a nice sound on that. Right, where do we get to? There also appears to be differences depending on subclasses. LNI 800s have been observed to accelerate in the standard manner as originally specified by the Department for Transport, whereas GWR's 800s and all 802s appear to have around 50% more power available, resulting in improved acceleration. Finally, LNER 801s have a single emergency generator unit, which has been simulated when selecting diesel mode. As you would expect, performance is much degraded, and on the 9-car 801/2s in particular, a speed of only 60 miles per hour can be expected on level track eventually. Is actually what it says there. Speed those wipers up a bit. Brakes. So there's friction brake. Conventional friction brake is blended below 10 miles an hour under the following conditions: passing through a neutral section during wheel slide, emergency brake application, and DRA is on. Dynamic brake, when the friction brake is not being used as described above, dynamic braking is in use, uses the traction motors to slow down the train. There is a holding brake. A holding brake is provided to prevent an uncontrolled rollaway whilst the train is at a stand. Where am I stopping next to the windows? The holding brake applies a friction brake application of approximately 2.5 bar when the speed drops below 0.3 mile an hour and then remains below 0.9 mile an hour for more than 3 seconds. The power brake controller must also not be in a power notch. It is released as soon as traction power is applied. The holding brake is disabled when the forward preparation or train wash buttons are pressed. It's got a hill start brake as well. If the holding brake is not applied for whatever reason, pressing the hill start button whilst moving the power brake controller from a brake notch to a power notch maintains a brake application around 1 bar and ensure the train does not roll back in the time it takes the power to be applied. That's a nice little feature that from Hitachi, as well as seeing Richard implement that into this. Emergency brake. An emergency brake application is approximately 30% stronger than max and occurs in the following circumstances: moving the power brake controller to the E position, pressing an emergency brake plunger, failing to acknowledge an AWS warning or driver vigilance device, we will put that on in a bit, moving the reverse to off, moving the reverse to the neutral position above 4 mile an hour, well that's a new one, and pressing the door release buttons above 4 mile an hour, that's another new one. It's cool to have those in. When an emergency brake application is initiated, the train fault acknowledge button will illuminate and the train fault alarm will sound. To cancel the alarm, press the train fault acknowledge button by pressing F, and the train fault acknowledge button will extinguish once the cause of the emergency brake application has ceased. Nice little touch that. Actually, the opening of the doors after 4 mile an hour. You don't want to press T accidentally, put it that way. Adhesion! Adhesion between the train's wheels and the rails plays a big part in allowing the train to accelerate or brake. Too little of it, and the train will slip or slide. If there's a myriad of factors that control the level of adhesion, we've attempted, I'm speeding again, attempted to simulate the most important of these to give a varied, realistic driving experience. So this is sort of the newer bits that AP have been putting into packs, is about how they do adhesion and wheel slip and wheel slide. So season, adhesion is generally good in dry conditions during summer, spring, slightly decreased adhesion during winter. Take account the increased amount of moisture and possible ice on the rails due to cooler temperatures. Much decreased adhesion during autumn during leaf fall. So that's now simulated for seasons. That's kind of what we had before, but now we've got weather, which was part of it, and time of day is another one that's different, and there's another one to add on to that. So adhesion decreases in wet weather, especially so when rain first starts falling before it's had a chance to clean the railhead. If rain is light, it will take longer for the railhead to be cleaned, whereas heavy rain will clear it quickly, resulting in adhesion recovery sooner. When using the drizzle weather pattern in our Sky and Weather Enhancement pack, adhesion is particularly poor, as the rain hasn't had enough force to clean the railhead, but still makes sufficiently wet to worsen adhesion. Nice. So linking in with the weather pack there, I think is a really nice thing. Sort of brings a different dimension to it as well. That's awesome. Time of day. This is a weird one, but I love it. Adhesion will decrease somewhat after dusk as the air cools and dew is more likely to form in the railhead. This persists throughout the night until around an hour after sunrise, when higher temperatures or the sun dry out. In our simulation, this factor is reduced during summer to account for warmer temperatures, which on average result in less dew. So it's taking a lot into account. The next one is another very, very cool one, which I don't think has been done before. Maybe on the set, but I wouldn't be 100% sure. I've just realised I haven't got my AWS button plugged in. Tunnels. When adhesion is poor due to external factors such as weather or season, adhesion will generally improve upon entering a tunnel, which is not susceptible to these factors. When adhesion is good during dry weather and outside of autumn, adhesion may decrease a little upon entering the tunnel due to their damp nature. Let's try and get to 60. Wheel slip protection aids the driver when power or braking at times of poor adhesion. When wheel slip is encountered during acceleration, a three-stage process takes place. The sander button illuminates, and sand can be applied by pressing this button for as long as it remains illuminated. The motors can be heard rising rapidly in pitch, and power reduction control to reduce power to control the slip. So, like on some of the other stock we've had, the motors will go and then they'll wind down. Once grip is regained, power is reapplied in the notch selected on the power controller. And as always, as a driver, you must assess which power notch is most suitable conditions and balance the occurrence of wheel slip with the maximum possible rate of acceleration. Remember that. You're in charge of that bit. Wheel slide. This is another thing that is nice to have in TS as well. 75 now, we've got to 100. It is rapid, and it's a nice drive so far. I'm not having too much bother. I'm going to wait till I get to speed set before doing it, because I don't know how to use it yet. But we'll have a look at that in a minute. When wheel slides are counted during braking, multi-stage processes take place. The sander button illuminates and the sander is automatically applied. The dynamic brake is disabled and the air brake slide takes over. Brake pressure is automatically reduced to try and control the slide. We've got a 90 coming up, which is going to be nice. Right, let's get it up to full speed and see what it sounds like. Brake pressure is automatically reduced to try and take control of the slide. We read that bit. Once the slide stops, brake pressure is returned to the notch selected on the power brake controller. If wheel slide reoccurs, the process starts again. So electric and diesel mode. Some of these, of course, are dual mode, and as stated, the 800s that LNER have, or the 801s, whatever one it is, has the generator sets that like the last mile. So if there's overhead line faults, it can use its last mile generator set to get it back to detrain passengers, basically. Aside from the 803s, all units are bi-mode with the ability to use the overhead wires on electric mode or the onboard generating units, GUs, away from the overhead wires on diesel mode. In this pack, the default power mode is electric. For the default to be selected to diesel instead, the relevant consists in quick drive with a diesel suffix, or in the scenario editor, see the numbering section later on the manual. Please see below how this will be done. Please note that the cab does not feature a diesel engine start or engine stop button. These are purely controlled via the keyboard. An electric button is present but not clickable. If I remember rightly, I think it's actually starting them up is done on the TMS, which hasn't been modelled in this, so that's probably why. Don't quote me on that though, but I'm pretty sure it is done on the TMS. So electric to diesel, I'll leave you guys to read how to do those bits, and diesel to electric, but you can switch them over. Pantograph position. Depending on the formation of the train, the correct pantographs will be raised per reality. For example, 5 or 9 car units running solo will have the leading pantograph raised. 10 car formations, pantograph will be raised on the leading and rear vehicle. The only exception for this, which in 2021, the LDR units, which in 2021 began to use the rear pantograph on 5 and 9 car units. This has been implemented by default on all LNER units in this pack, but can be reverted to the pre-2021 setup by removing the pan equals R from the DPTS vehicle number. 10 car formations remain unchanged using both the front and rear pantographs. So I'm about to laugh at this one, but bear with me. Driver only, selected door operation. Full door controls feature this pack to simulate DOO. Please see below for what the relevant is. So DOO, open the doors by pressing T on your left side, T on your right side. If at a platform, wait for the platform to reach complete message to appear in the top right hand corner. Press R to close the doors. If not at a platform, press R whenever you wish. I did press R. Once the clock lights, you may depart. Then there's guard operation. Open the doors by pressing T and U or T and O. The train door control will now illuminate on the cab desk to show that the control of the doors has been transferred to the guards. And I'm stopping at Newton and Willows, so let's just focus on stopping for a second. Brakes are lovely. Neutral section. It does have neutral section functionality, I'm sure it does. There we go. Line light's back on now. I think Richard's got the sounds to this windscreen wiper off our old map printer in our library at school. Love it. Love it. Oh, don't slide on me. We are coming in a little bit hot here. Oh, I shouldn't have worried though. This thing can stop. It's got an external wiper noise as well. I think Rich is trolling me, definitely. Right, selective door control. Selective door operation, sorry. A simple form of SDO is available in this pack where the doors will only open on coaches that are next to a platform. This uses the core system and train simulator to assert this, so reliant on platforms of your chosen route having been laid correctly. That's going to always be an issue, so that is... It just means you can have it back to how it default would do the door. I like the way that's been turned into a feature, though. I do like that. That's the sort of thing I'd be proud of. I'd be proud of that. So how to change operation. The 4 operations are guard only, GO, which is guard only, SDO, DOO, DOO, SDO. These can be cycled through by pressing Control and R. Visual measure at the top right will tell you if it's happening. Speed set. The speed set display is located on the screen in front of the driver on the cab desk. To activate speed set, press Control plus full stop, and off or on the screen will illuminate accordingly. To change the selected speed in increments, press full stop to increase and comma to decrease. Your chosen speed is then displayed. With speed set activated and a power notch selected, the speed set system will automatically control the train speed to the selected value. If the speed drops too far below the target speed, the unit will automatically apply traction power in order to get back to selected speed. If the target speed starts to exceed in electric mode, such as when the train's on a falling gradient, the speed set will automatically apply the dynamic brake in order to slow the speed. When in diesel mode, speed set cannot be used to slow the train down. Right, let's try that then. So that's 90. And we're good to go. So that should take us up to 90, and we're in electric mode, so it should hold us there. Neutral section functionality, we've already talked about that, so it does have neutral section functionality. When passing a neutral section, you shall see the line light extinguish, meaning that traction power is lost, and if braking, the friction brake is used opposed to dynamic brake. Dynamic brake will only be used again by releasing the brake and then reapplying. Traction power will automatically return. Train wash, it's got train wash function, so you can limit it to 3 miles an hour when going through. Train wash button will illuminate and you will hear the cab door seals inflate because these do have pressure sealed doors to prevent water ingress. The saloon door rams will also engage, so these are, yeah, you'll hear those in the passenger view, I'm guessing. To deactivate the train wash button, or in any case it will automatically deactivate after 300 seconds. There is a coupling procedure, so J will open the forward hatch and activate train wash mode to ensure your speed is restricted when the nose cone is fully open, so I'm not going to do that now. Select a low power setting, ease up to units. As you have coupled, apply max brake and shut down the cab. Move to the cab you intend to drive from the onward journey. Ensure that the pantographs are raised, pan down button, press Control P and then pan up with P. Uncoupling is done on the unit you intend to drive after coupling. Move to the cab next to the unit you're uncoupling from. Set the cab and use the F3 or F4 HUD to physically uncouple the unit. Place the reverse into reverse. Use minimum power to move no more than 2 foot from the unit you've just uncoupled from. Let's see if this is going to hold my speed. Yeah, it's going to hold it. Nice. If the unit you're in is to remain in service, you need not worry about closing the nose cone, as it will automatically close about 50 miles an hour. Otherwise, you can close it manually by pressing the forward preparation button, which is extinguished once the nose door is closed. You've got player changeable destination blinds for GWR, LNER, transparent, and hull trains and Lumo. Automatic unit numbering. Arcing pantograph, so we had that in the 387. It's the same as that, so you'll see it active, it will flash more in certain times of day and things like that, which is a lovely feature. There's a full cold start setup procedure in this as well, with auxiliaries on and all of that stuff. So do be warned though, auxiliary, the aux on button, if you have follow train on, it uses the page up button. I haven't tested that yet, but it could interfere, so you might have to turn follow train off if you are driving this, otherwise you might end up pinging to a million other trains and it being a nightmare. For that, so you hold the aux on button for a couple of seconds with page up, turn the master key with Shift W, move the reverse to neutral with S, cancel the train fault alarm by pressing F, acknowledge the AWS self-test by pressing Q, select either diesel mode by holding N or M respectively. If you've selected electric mode, you'll now need to wait 3 minutes or so for the auxiliary compressor to build up sufficient air pressure to allow you to raise the pantograph. Once 3 minutes have elapsed, hold the pan up button down by pressing P. With either the pantograph raised or the generator unit started, you must now wait for the main reservoir pressure to build to 6.5 bar. Once you've done so, you'll be able to obtain brake release. After carrying out this procedure, you'll be set up, ready to go. It doesn't say that, it says prepared, but I'm stopping at Lee Green. Ah, no. Again, I shouldn't have really worried. This thing's... Do you know what it is? Driving modern stock in TS is just unbelievable. It's the same with the 185. I mean, I know the 185 is nowhere near as modern as this is, but just the much better braking on this, the 387, all that sort of thing is just so much better. It's going to take a little bit of getting used to because the brakes are sort of... You do notice that friction brake kicking in. Right, bits and bobs. Richard's bits and bobs. My favourite bit in all of these manuals is Richard's bits and bobs. Newly modelled car-to-car cables and corridor connections. Detailed underframe visual specific to each vehicle and subclass. Applicable windows removed on El Niano units where there's a buffet. 2 windows removed in the whole trains and Trans-Pennine Express DPTF vehicle. I was going to think what that one was. What would that be driving? Pantograph trailer first? Driving, yeah, driving pantograph trailer first, maybe? No idea. Vehicle compared to the default 3 windows. Pantograph monitoring light illuminates when the reverser is from forward to reverse. Nice to have that on as well. High quality head, marker and tail light textures. Improved body side indicators. Light visuals should now both show on both sides. When it locks lost. Screws and horn grill added to front valance. Right, let's have a look at that actually. That helps. There we go, it is there. At the bottom, I like that. Sounds pretty spot on to me. Right, we've got about 10 miles. So what I'm actually going to do is switch this onto diesel mode. I know it wouldn't in this case, but we are going to. Just for the sake of the video. Improved body side indicator. Yeah, we got that. Screw horn and grill. 2 horn variants. The original and the KSJ. I don't know what one that is, to be honest. In-cab, high quality pictorial buttons have been added to opposed to the generic ones. Let me just pause the game for a sec while we do this so we're not too late getting in with the AI. AWS sunflower visuals, brake force gauge amended to look more accurate, speedometer recalibrated so accurate displays speed, which it didn't in the first one, which was stupid. Errors duplicate electric button hint. The little one that used to come up here if you didn't have the DSD on. Improved instrument lights, Headlight proving lights. Cab camera position amended, so more of a cab desk is visible instead of the old one where you were literally like that. 4-step reversal with off. Power brake control will not move into power notch as reverser and forward. Reversal will not move if power brake control is in a power notch. Lights automatically revert to tail lights when reverse is moved to off. TPWS lights illuminate during AWS self-test. Safety isolation systems isolate on cab desk when DVD is disabled. Good God, Richard, there's 2 pages of these, man. Correct door open buttons illuminate when doors are open on both relevant sides. Pantograph will drop if the emergency brake plunger is pressed. Variable wiper speeds, numbers on switch are the number of cycles per minute. Wipers audibly rub against the windscreen when it's not wet. Driver to guard buzzer does not function in DOO mode. Train control button only illuminates in guard only mode. Functioning forward preparation, rear preparation buttons. The former opens the leading nose cone, the latter opens the trailing nose cone. Air seals around cab doors can be heard inflating when accelerating at 2 miles per hour and deflating when decelerating under 2 miles per hour. Rams on saloon doors can be heard engaging at 15.5 and disengaging when at 2. Visual alarms outside the cab when AWS or DVD is activated. Excellent. The visible driver automatically moves to whichever cab you're in. Right-hand head-out view faces the leading pantograph, a great spot to watch the arc effect after dark. Nice one. 1 second delay between trade passes over the AWS magnet and AWS warning sound. Headlight and pantograph light only illumination before sunrise and after sunset to avoid the unrealistic appearance of projected light in broad daylight. Wipers operate on AI services if it's raining. Frequency and speed of wiper depends on the intensity of the rain. Oh, geez, so they actually do change. Nice. Right, the last thing to talk about the manual, then we can get on to that playing about more with this, is the scenarios. So there is 3 scenarios, all for the ATS chat MOS route. I'm not biased. It's a great route. Of course I'm biased. But it is. No, I'm really pleased with this that they're on here. So there's 1 Papa 1-3, which is Lime Street to Newcastle. Then there is 1 Papa 3-9, Lime Street to Newcastle. And 9 Mike 2-4, which is Newcastle to Lime Street. And they're both in different sort of way. Credits go to, of course, the wonderful Nick for his advanced scripting. Ben Van Halligan, which is Major Wales. He did the model of the car cable and connections. Mr. Clouds of the ATS variety, lovely fella. He's assisted with the LNR and Transparent Express liveries, Hitachi in recording the sounds. So, all in all, a very, very, very complex manual. There's a lot in there. A lot more than I was even expecting. Right, let's get over to diesel mode. And then I'll go through the bits that I might not be that massively interested, might not be massively pleased about, but are in. Right, so let's go to diesel. We're going electric to diesel. So we need to reversers away from off. Let's put it into neutral. M, and then that should be us. So what I want to do actually, go down to one of the gen sets. Okay, I'm not complaining with that. And then it going back up. So that's our gen set set, okay? There has to be a bloody train coming every time I try and do this. can definitely tell the difference on diesel. 100% you can tell the difference on diesel. Diesel mode with the sounds. I like it. The fact that we can switch between them again is brilliant. Right. Can it be done on the move? Only one way to find out, isn't there? No. Oh, not in a power position, sorry. I don't know why I stopped back there to do that, did I? Why did I stop? On the move, power switchover. Woo! Oh, nice feature. Nice feature. Right, things I am not massively impressed about. Let's get them out of the way. This. I would have loved to have seen some basic TMS functionality. I know from our work into the 800, covering up this ATP speedo is just ridiculous. Without a new cab, it was going to be nigh on impossible to make it look actually that good. So I can see why Richard's gone with this. I will ask him on stream tonight about this, because this should really be here on this screen. And I think something to be able to say you've started and stopped the engines and things, maybe on the TMS, or some sort of information on there, I think would have been nice. Or at least even the Hitachi logo in the branding patch. Something to show that it does something there would have been nice. CCTV monitor stuff, not really that fussed about. Stop, yeah, it could have been nice to have something there or whatever, but again, it's not a big bugbear for me. But yeah, not having anything on here is a bit of a bugbear. GSMR, I'm sure there's reasons why it couldn't be done properly, but again, I would have liked to have seen that. I think it does add a lot of functionality to any train cab that it's in, and especially a train that had so little functionality before. This could do with it. Does that detract from the actual train itself? No, I don't think it does really detract from the pack. Not massively. The bending of reality with the speed set bit, I'm a bit about, but I'll see what Richard sort of says about that when we speak to him later on. But I'm sure he's got a good reason for it. I'm sure he's got a good reason for it. But I would like to have seen it on the actual screen, on the right hand side screen. Anything else I've not liked? No, not really. I haven't seen anything about ATP. So I don't know if that actually works. There's nothing in the manual. So ATP might not be in it. And I don't know if they... Well, I'm sure they do use ATP. I don't know if they still use ATP. I'm sure they do still use ATP on the Great Western sections. So that... Some of the Great Western sections, anyway. That not being in there, I'm not too sure about. It might still be in there and just not listed in the manual because it's such a basic feature that was already in it that it's probably still there. I don't know. But apart from that, no, I quite like it. I mean, some of the key things for me that I think have just really, really smashed this out of the park are just silly additions like having the right light surrounds and the horn grille. Having the physics feel like you're actually driving something that's not like a Hornby train. Having the speedo that reads correctly. I mean, I know I'm sitting there, my expectations might sound low here, but the train was so bad in the first place that it's a miracle in my eyes that it's this good already. As you guys well know, we worked on the 800 stuff, and it is not the nicest train to work with. We used it as a test bed for a lot of the stuff that's in the 185. It's really not a nice train to work with. So hats off to Richard for the amount he's done with this. I'm not sure if you're supposed to use the speed set for braking, but I am. So yeah, I'm impressed. I'm impressed. I think you guys are going to really, really enjoy it. Is the hype founded? Is the hype founded? That is in the eye of you guys. That's not in my eyes. That is for you guys to decide. I can't tell you, yes, the hype was justified. In my eyes, yeah. I think there's going to be a lot of happy people. And there's going to be a lot of people driving a train that hasn't been drivable. That's been such a big integral part of the UK rail network for the last sort of few years. And only going to get more common. Maybe not in this exact guise, but in definitely a sort of guise that means that these could be used as standard or whatever. I think, well, am I mad and thinking speeds that only work above 30 or something, or above a certain speed? Can't remember. Anything else I wasn't particularly... the page up and page down for the auxiliaries. That was my only other gripe. Could have used like home and scroll lock or home and end or something. Slightly different. Apart from that, no. I've got nothing really to complain about with it. Am I going to look forward to driving it? Yes. Could I comfortably now drive this up the East Coast Mainline Merge? Yeah. Yeah. And would I be tired at the end of it? No more than I would be in a 91, I don't think. This thing, in fact, it's probably slightly easier to drive. The cab environment feels so much nicer to be in. It just looks better. And one thing I do love about most of the Hitachi sets actually is their cabs. Is their sort of dark grey cabs. I do really like that. I think they look cool. And the colourful buttons on the dark grey I think really sets them apart from a lot of other units. And that is modelled nicely here. So yeah, hats off to them. And I look forward to driving it more. I really, really do. Should you go out and buy it? There's always going to be the question. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, 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 yes. I am looking forward to this. I am looking forward to being able to rip this up and down the East Coast Main Line. I am looking forward to ripping this like we already have across Chat Moss. With some of the other routes that are coming out in the future as well. This thing is going to be awesome. Even doing runs down like West Coast Main Line over Shap, and even north coming down from like Glasgow. It's going to be cool. It's going to be cool. And I think there's going to be an absolute ton of scenarios very, very quickly. I think there's... I know that some of the Cranky Bot packs and things on ATS he's working on updating. I know that a lot of people that have got any Azuma scenarios on ATS, a lot of those, the guys that were on stream the other night were saying how they were ready to update theirs as well. So, and hopefully it's just a simple case of swapping out the stock and then it's ready to go. For me, it also completes completes the Chat Moss route for us, really. Having a decent version of it. We had the DTG version before, but having this as an EP stock, I think all stock now used on the Chat Moss route is EP. Is an EP standard, which I think is an actual massive bonus for us as ATS, but also for you guys as players who are investing in the ATS stuff and the AP stuff, is that your routes are up to a good standard and your stock is now up to a good standard. which for me I'm really pleased with. Really pleased with. And I feel very honoured that Richard's used the Chat Moss route to showcase the pack in itself. So a big thank you to Armstrong Powerhouse for that. And a big thank you to the lads that built the route as well, because it goes to show that their skill has been acknowledged, I suppose. So I'm really pleased with that. It's slightly humbling. So it's actually very humbling. But I really hope you guys have enjoyed the video as much as I have enjoyed making this one. And if you are watching this on the 16th, when hopefully this should release, I've got a live stream from 7 PM, and we will be joined by Armstrong Powerhouse at some point. I don't know the exact time yet, but we'll be joined by Armstrong Powerhouse at some point to talk through the making of the pack and things like that. So if you want some more info and everything like that, head over to Twitch tomorrow. Today, the 16th of December, from 1900. Let's get our doors open, shut down a cab. DRA's on, you are in full service. Alright guys, thank you ever so much for watching. Please feel free to like, share and subscribe. And I don't usually say this, but please do hit that little notification bell, because for the next couple of weeks you're going to get quite a lot of uploads, and I'd really want you to be first to see those straight away, because some of them are going to be showing you some juicy bits and pieces. As I said, heading over to Twitch today the 16th from 1900. Hopefully Armstrong Powerhouse will be on with us, and we'll be discussing what's going on and how the pack is, and maybe even get some tidbits about what's coming up from AP in the future. So once again guys, thanks ever so much, and I will catch us all next time.